Hello, everybody. Welcome to DreamHack Valencia. It's the Pro Circuit. It is the third event of 4. We find ourselves in the sunny, the lovely, the incredibly, indisputably Spanish Valencia. And my name is Stumpy, first of all, and I am joined by Doomsy. It's your debut cast, mate. How are you doing?
It is. I'm doing great. I'm really looking forward to this. This could be very exciting. We've got some great games today.
Look amazing, yeah.
We've got some great games today. And yeah, it's casting debut, so we're gonna this is gonna be exciting. I think we're gonna enjoy some good Rocket League.
All the games look fantastic from what we've seen. The bracket is way more stacked than it ever deserves to be. All these dream hacks have been just incredible so far. We can have a quick look at the groups. There's no group here that I'll be like, you know what, you are definitely gonna be making it through, because they are terrifying. We've seen before at Valencia and Dallas as well that a lot of the teams that you think would be relatively sort of certain to make it through to the later days, they just don't. We've seen TSM obviously fall out early in Leipzig, which is my main sort of example. But I mean, looking at Group A, who are you looking at? Who's strong there? Obviously Vitality.
Obviously Vitality is the one to go for. I mean, the reigning world champions, you got to root for Vitality. Speaking of Vitality, I've always been a little bit iffy in the past. They've had some shaky performances on LAN events, but obviously been so dominant online. But obviously, the last RLCS, they completely destroyed that reputation. It was like, you know what, let's go nuts. But even then, like day 3 was when they really took off to it, took it to a whole new level. Particularly Fairy Peak. His performances at LAN have never been quite as good as what he can do online until RLCS day 3. So hopefully, we'll see whether he can keep that going on this event or not. But if Vitality play like half as well as they usually do, they should be very comfortable in this first group.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Group A as well, I just like the fact we have a team that I presume is called Mount Gang, but it's just Mount. So it's just him versus anybody else there. Moving on to Group B, obviously, let's ignore Cloud9. Cloud9, they're going to do very well. They're obviously, they did win Dallas. They didn't manage to do very well at Leipzig, but hoping, obviously, to carry on their trend. Any other teams there that you're thinking could surprise us? Maybe a lost potato?
The surprise is, look out for Childish Gam. Look out for Childish Gam Bim Bam. Gam Bim Bam. They are that comprised of Tedder, Frisk, and B-Peak. They're not like, they're not players that some people may have been heard of, but they can definitely, if they're having a good day, they can maybe have a little surprise here, surprise a little team coming out of that one, which is actually quite an interesting thing. There's quite a lot of there's quite a lot of little teams that come through the open sign up that haven't quite they haven't made a name for themselves really, and so a lot of players might not know them, but they can definitely catch some of the well-known RLCS teams off guard if they're not careful. Yeah,
I mean, the name it's escaped me right now, but in Leipzig we had a team that Calix was on, and is Mindset. Mindset ended up taking some of the big teams down. The G2 going to the 5th game against Vitality, obviously out of 7, so not quite as impressive as a best of 5. But they are such a strong team at the moment. I think G2, they're going to do incredibly well, and I'm always excited to watch Barcelona play.
Oh yeah, Barcelona is a great team. They play like Barcelona, like the football club. They're very
flashy,
quite flashy team. So mechanically, Barcelona are very individually mechanically gifted, so they get a lot of flashy plays out of that. But I think this whole Group C is probably the most balanced of the lot. I think, even every single team is pretty even. I think G2 and Barcelona might, probably the top 2 in that group. But I mean, even teams like Aeriality, which is Tylacto, Ixo, and Sebadam, watch out for them.
Fully English boys.
The fully English lads. It's coming home. It's coming home. Oh no, what I said.
Every spam your English flags in chat. It's coming home, boys.
Ixo's been coming up strong. I mean, Tylacto and Sebadam, they're well-known players. Ixo, he's made a big name for himself in the 1v1 scene, but he's played a lot of 3v3s as well, and he's getting really good at that. And Ixo's he came 3rd in the last qualifiers for Dallas, so he almost took a spot there.
I mean, obviously you've teamed with Ixo in the
yeah.
past, and I mean, what's if you're against him? What is the playstyle you need to adapt to try and sort of shut him down? Because you say that he's strong at 1v1.
Yeah.
Obviously, spoilers, recently beat Fairy Peak in a best of 5 series on Johnny Boy's channel. So how do you counter that?
I mean, he will dribble more than most players. I think he'll take a touch, and try to control it a bit more. But he is smart that he won't he will make passes and obviously not try to do it himself. So he's a smart player. But I think someone like that, be prepared for the control. So make sure you challenge him early on. Don't give him space. Try to shadow for as long as possible if he is dribbling, for example. But overall, like his general mechanics and accuracy of shooting is pretty good. So you kind of have to play against him like you would other 3v3 players. But bear in mind his dribbling skills.
Our final group, Group D. There's another load of massive teams in there. Obviously, Dignitas not coming in as one of the strongest seeds we've normally seen them at. And obviously, Turbo Pulsar recently leaving Dignitas, going on to RGRR, Randy Gibbons River Rats. What a name, first of all. Joining Classics and Corrupted G. I'm so happy they're in the same group, by the way. That makes me happier than anything. So obviously, Dignitas, they have now got Astral on their side. I've spoken to Panda previously about his choice to have Astral on that team. And he was just saying, trust me. Just trust me here. Like, I was a little bit apprehensive. But he was saying, look, it's such a talent. At the moment, a little bit unwieldy. But if we can get a decent result here and we can start to almost tame him in a way, then it means that they're going to do some fantastic things. And Panda looking forward to have that strong captain's role back, I feel.
Yeah, this will be interesting because there's a thing called the honeymoon period in actually pretty much any sport thing. But like in Rocket League, it's so prevalent where a new team has formed, and within the first few weeks, they just go crazy. They play so well, and so Astral's just come in. So if he can, he's a great player as well. So if they are in their honeymoon period, so to speak, Dignitas could have a really good run. And obviously they're known to Panda. Panda's had a lot of LAN experience playing very well. Yuko's just joined in. They've had very good LAN results. So LAN isn't anything new and exciting, new to them. So
yeah. I mean, so obviously we've spoken about all these games. We're actually going to be going into Group A for our first game. We are going to be witnessing Splyce's Ground Zero. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, oh, Splyce, yeah, I know Splyce. You don't. You don't know Splyce. It's all changed, everybody. Splyce now, for at least this tournament, is going to be made up and Karma. So we're joining this game with 35 seconds left. These guys already got started. And looking like it's a pretty decent start here for Splyce, who's taking that first game as well.
Yeah, so Splyce, this is basically the Peeps roster, but with Karma in place of Arsenal and playing under the Splyce name, essentially how this is going. But yeah, Redall's already I love to assume we join Redall's just
that is how this is going. So obviously Jaro now with 10 seconds left, trying to get a nice little air dribble going. Can't quite get it over the top. Jules, nice and quick to that ball, but does just miss out. They're going to need something these 5 seconds, otherwise Splyce just need one more game to deliver that killing blow. Falling towards the net, just about makes it in.
Same spot.
With the luck on his side, hitting that spot. His precision, is that precision or accuracy? His precision is pretty good.
Accuracy. Precision, I don't think makes any sense in a sport. I think.
Okay, wow, all right, shut me down.
Shut you down. Well,
yeah,
actually, maybe
enough.
they're interchangeable. Either way, maybe there isn't a difference. But there's definitely a difference in the scientific terms. But that's a story for another stream.
That's what I was thinking. I was going scientific. All right, so Splyce already 2 games up. We were waiting, obviously, for the main games to start on the stage. Obviously, that's why these ones already started. So that's why we joined halfway through. Don't you worry, chat. Don't you worry. All right, so Splyce, obviously 2 up so far. Is that what you'd expect at the start of this series?
Yeah. So going to this, I think Splyce was the favourite team. I don't think that it wouldn't, as probably that match showed, I don't think it would be a dominant performance. The Peeps obviously have just recently qualified into, Splyce have recently qualified into the RLCS for last season. But they had a really good showing in the rival series. Ground Zero, obviously like a top team in Oceania, but you know, there's the cross-region battle, so now it gets a bit difficult. Like, how do these match up? So, you know, I think, you know, this is kind of going how I thought it would.
But I mean, Ground Zero, people might know them as the former Out of Order roster, and they're basically the second best team at the moment in OCE if we're going by the RLCS standings. They ended up beating Chiefs, formerly Icon, formerly Tainted Minds, to make it to the RLCS LAN. Chiefs now are a completely different team. I feel so sorry for anybody who's new to this because it's just going to be the most confusing tournament ever. But yeah, Ground Zero, their second team in OC, and OC is obviously a pretty strong region at the moment as well. So Splyce having a bit of a roster change, hoping that it's going to do them a little bit of good going into this. But Game 3 has begun. Going to be hopefully see if you're a Splyce fan, the 3-0. And Rettles nearly getting a goal. Jara hitting the post. Now Karma just behind. Hits it gently in the centre. Siki can pick up and dribble around this right-hand side. Nobody challenging him. And can easily flick it over the top of Rettles, but Jara can catch.
Yeah, I think, in particular this match, look out for Rettles. He was the top goal scorer for the RRS last season, and as he showed last game, he just scored 2 goals. So watch out, you know, for his offensive prowess on the field, and also watch out for see how Karma plays, because obviously Karma is subbing in to see how she fits in. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamic they have.
Yeah, strange seeing Karma play without obviously J-Wiz and Nose Dude. But Siki taking full advantage of the fact that obviously these guys don't know each other as well as the normal Splyce roster do, and he can plant it below all 3 of them who are in the air trying to save that shot with just over a minute gone. Ground Zero are up. I mean, Game 2, that went to, it was 3-2, or 4-2 I suppose, to count the 0-second goal.
Yeah, always.
The sort of, the awkward ceiling bouncer. So, it's not like Ground Zero aren't able to score these goals.
Yeah, for sure. I think you can catch, teams off guard if you play around well enough and try to boost starve. So we'll see how like their boost starving comes into play and see how Rettles can catch off guard. But like things like see things like this where
Gyro.
If you can catch, like, Gyro comes out a bit, he overcommits a bit too much, doesn't give him like Karma enough time, and it's things like that. Earlier we saw Rettles, he was caught too far on the front post. So I think this is probably the perfect thing for Ground Zero to do, to instead of try to like outplay them per se, with force, just try to mess around with a third man.
Yeah, if they can maybe throw them off just a little bit when they're not used to going for positions that they typically would. Obviously in the Peeps roster, such a strong roster. Arsenal leaving is a little bit of a shock for anybody who's been paying attention to the North American Rocket League scene. The Peeps have done more than a lot of people would have anticipated for them to do. Rettles now trying to go for something a little bit special. Ooh. He's up, can't quite secure the dubs. Gyro challenging Jules. Nice bump there again from Gyro. At the top of get a connection. So what do you think? Are you impressed with Ground Zero in this third game? It seems like they've found their stride a little bit. Obviously, this is the first game of DreamHack Valencia as well.
Yeah, it's they're doing well. I think always abused to do different to position things that a little bit differently, because they're going to make like double commitment mistakes and things like that. But yeah, they're doing well so far. Don't 2 goals now have already happened from like a third man not being quite there. So you still got to be careful when you're on. But the passing plays are going well. Out of defense, that's always a key thing that Ground Zero are doing at the moment. So yeah, they just need to keep going.
A bit of a surprise cut across there by Gyro. I thought there would be a third man maybe coming in for him, but he uses about 60 boosts to cut across the entire field, and Ground Zero not really taking advantage of it. Thinking they couldn't quite get the touch over the top either. Rettles going for sort of almost a fake air dribble, trying to get around the third, but Jules can get a block in the end. Siki now very low on boost, won't be able to block much if it comes his way, but can pick up his corner 100. Quite over the top though, as Decker sends it far. Siki again can't quite connect.
Yes,
but a few times where he's got to like receive the ball, but he's not been able to make that final touch just to put it in.
I mean, this could be a bit of the land nerves, maybe warm-up day sometimes takes a while. Maybe even a bit of jet lag, who knows, whatever it is. But it's part of the game, you've got to sort of adapt to it. Uncharacteristic whisk, can cause quite big issues if your team isn't prepared for it. So
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's up to everybody on the team to say, look, like, basically say what you just said. It's day one. This is our first game. This doesn't send us out of anywhere. This is how we sort of establish the role that we're going to be taking in this group. And I mean, their group is ultimately absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you've got like this is the thing, when you've got such difficult teams to play against, you know, you think, okay, well, how can I do it? And usually you can't brute force them out of damage, so you have to, like, a lot of the time think outsmart is the best way.
That's an open net there for Sicky, and again, unfortunately, you can't quite get it, but the lack of communication once again for Splyce means that Ground Zero are now 3-up with under a minute to go. Retals can't quite get the touch. Karma and Gyro then just sort of faffing about in the middle. Sicky taking full advantage. But I mean, I've seen Sicky have a couple of shots where he maybe could have gone for that and made it a little bit challenging. And he seems to opt for the backboard or sort of the side wall more often than not. So if Splyce can understand that that's where he's going to be going for a little bit more often, then they could be a little bit more successful in stopping these.
Well, that's how they're punishing them so well. I think a lot of the times Reddles is in a position for, you know, a good save if it's direct, but because he comes up quite hard and pushes up probably as an aggressive player, he then anything that's on the backboard or behind him will just completely catch him off guard. And if he is the third man, then there's no one else behind him who can help. And 2 goals have scored from Ground Zero because of that reason.
All right, 20 seconds left now, Splyce. I'm going to do the classic thing. They need a miracle. They obviously need a miracle here. Retals there just bumping Jules out of the net as well. Nothing's going to happen, though. Ground Zero, they take game number 3. Looking like, as soon as we started watching, it was a little bit of a curse. Oh, that is a lovely pass, but no, 0 seconds. Hey, 0 seconds.
I was like, oh, 1 second, 1 second. No, not quite.
That's a really good pass, though.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, Gyro almost basically scored it. And then, like, just nipped that crossbar. But Redo's getting the good angle there, showing why he's their top striker.
Yeah, I mean, another 0-second goal. I mean, I always feel like you sort of do need to ignore them a little bit. Like, when it's sort of doesn't really matter too much, and there are ultimately still another goal in it that you can't score, they're not the biggest drama if you concede it. Everyone sort of starts to slow down anyway. But now we're in a 2-1 series. The reverse sweep is obviously possible. It's obviously possible. That's what's on everybody's mind right now. It is unable to happen. So hopefully Splyce is going to continue to say, look, you know what? That's fine. We can drop that. We've built up our insurance buffer. We're able to drop a game. Let's just finish it out in the 4th. Are you confident they're going to be able to do that?
I think as watching this play, it seems to be quite even across the board, you know, mechanically speaking, and this sort of place. It seems like quite standard play going on at the moment. I think just the key thing is to it's the third man on both sides, really. That third, you know, the third man, particularly even Splyce, needs to just play defense. Like they can go ahead, you know, get a goal or 2 in the lead, and then just try to be a bit more careful, not to get caught off. I think, you know, Karma, if that makes sense. Send Reddles down. He's a great score. He's a great striker. So send him down. Get him to you know, make a lot of the plays, a lot of the redirects, and then just get them on as sort of the third, because it kind of slots in a little bit better. But I mean, obviously, like mix around. It's just getting used to it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's just getting used to that third player who they've not played with much before. I don't know how much practice they were doing before this tournament. I think we're going to see that with a few of these teams, including Randy Gibbons' River Rats, we don't necessarily know how much they have done in terms of preparation before it, like how much in advance do the players know this compared to, obviously, us, the general plebeians, how far we knew it.
Yeah, that's always the thing, and, you know, sometimes teams just, like, pick it up really quickly and fall naturally with each other, others a little bit of time to get into. But, I mean, at the moment, Splyce, you know, they're looking, you know, if they don't make any big mistakes, I feel like Splyce can, you know, do pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. Gyro there with a phenomenal pass, and really quickly off the ceiling and pelts it down towards Retals. Those two seeming to be playing off each other a bit more than utilising Karma, and that's what you're saying, where if you can get her involved just a little bit more, then maybe it means that you're going to have a few more sort of successful sort of 3-man plays.
For sure. Retals. Very, very quick with his plays.
So it's over a minute gone, still no goals scored just yet. That was a scary situation there for Splyce. Sicky nearly can get a shot off that central dome.
Good save.
That is a lovely interception by Decker. And then once again, off that backboard, Jules doing a nice quick turn. He's able to then clear it away. Goes central though. Karma going high. Sicky sending it off to the left where Decker is waiting to get a big clear. I love those passing out of defense. They're so vital.
Absolutely. I think it's almost like you have to pass out of defense. It's basically either pass out of defense or absolutely boom it off the backboard is the best way to get pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that would be a goal there.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be.
Oh, they can't hope for that.
Sorry, I need to be unbiased. My bad, Reddit. That's a really nice touch though by Sicky. Gets it central again. Oh my god. I probably could have. I think should have maybe dropped it down towards. I think it was Gyro in the centre. Maybe could have dropped it there, so it means that it's sort of a bit more of a scary pass coming in as opposed to your standard backboard. But Karma now again off that side. Rettle's trying to dribble it round. Karma's just sort of interfering now, picking up these little pads, meaning that she's able to obviously stay in the play but not have to rotate out and have that sort of 1 or 2 seconds of letting up on the side of Ground Zero.
Ground Zero is defending really well. They're definitely defending a lot better than they used to in the previous 3 games. So it's good to see that. Definitely passing out, they're spreading out more. The backboard is just constantly, getting covered, so that's great. Good the passes intercepting as well. Sicky, like I've just shown there. There's a few times now they've just Splyce have tried to pass into the middle and Ground Zero like, no, we'll just nab it. And they're there way before they even they like made the decision to intercept the pass before Splyce even made the decision to pass. Like, it's just they're already there.
I mean, Ground Zero obviously going in as one of the sort of middle seeded teams, and Splyce taking the peeps seeding essentially. So somewhere around the middle for both these guys, having equal chances to win out in this series. I mean, no goals thus far. Decker again a shot on target, but Karma another fantastic save. It's the pre-jump saves that are becoming so prevalent in these games. Oh, sorry, in the game.
Actually, that is really interesting because. The pre-jump meta kind of has to be a thing now for saves because, it's kind of like a penalty, right? You have to, a lot of the times you can't, a lot of players will shoot top corner, so you have to just pre-jump and really jump to the top corner. So sometimes even like hitting it low now is probably a good idea as well, so try to mix up the shots. So it wouldn't surprise me if Ground Zero or Splyce scored if they had to just drill it into the
as you were saying that, I think we saw about 2 or 3 more pre-jump saves.
Yeah,
got in front of a shot. And then there was also one on the other side. This is just back and forth, over and over again. Either team can very much win this. Jules now sending it across, but Jara intercepting once again. Sicky with it slightly open, but it is squeezed in that bottom corner. Passing from Jules across. Jara intercepts, but Decker sitting in great position, able to utilize that little bit of space that he's able to squeeze the ball into. And now with 43 seconds remaining, Ground Zero looking to take it to 5.
This is Ground Zero stepping up now. They're playing a lot better. Even though Splyce's defense has improved, like Ground Zero are just being a bit more relentless. They're pressuring a lot more, being a bit more overbearing, so to speak.
Another dangerous position. Decker over again realizes that they are all low on boost. Decker can turn, but in is high again.
Oh, what dunk!
Oh, but Sicky dunking it. I love this. So this is where they've found out that Splyce, they're low on boost. They've taken everything. And Sicky...
Doomsy dish dunked. Sicky came out from the backboard, didn't go down. That is fantastic play, to be honest. That was really good play for Sicky. But that's what they're being. That's the thing. They're being overbearing. They're just constantly being relentless in their aggression. So that Splyce aren't even getting on anything on the offense at the moment.
This is now Splyce's series to throw away. They were 2-0 up. And now we're going to be entering Game 5 with Ground Zero having that momentum advantage. Oh boy. If you're Splyce now, you're thinking we have thrown away somewhat of a sure thing looking at obviously those first 2 games. Ground Zero, though, like you say, they have stepped up. They've had their first game nerves on LAN. If you guys haven't been, by the way, to a DreamHack, these guys are all sitting in the same area where the public can go and see them. So they're going to have people looking around their computers about 5 feet away from them. They're going to be able to hear the opponent shouting when they've scored a goal. Or like if you can see, that's going to throw you off even more. It's such a different environment playing at a DreamHack.
It's interesting because obviously even at DreamHack you can be on the main stage with the crowd, but you're a little bit more isolated yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then
you've
also,
got like the full-on noise cancelling. You're in your own area.
Yeah.
You've not got people right next to you.
Or you could be back. We could be on the secondary land, secondary stage where, like you were saying, where like the public can sort of mingle around you, which can be, it depends. This is the thing. It depends on the person. Some people might prefer that. Some people might prefer it on the stage. So it's interesting to see like what kind of nerves come in. We saw some like. You could say nerves, I guess, at the beginning, with some uncharacteristic whiffs from Siki, a bit of like the defensive mishaps. But right now, at the moment, this is what I love. It's not that this possible reverse sweep isn't happening because one team is like suddenly playing bad. Like Splyce isn't getting worse or anything. Both teams have upped the level. So both teams are playing better than they were at the start of the series. But yet still Ground Zero has just stepped up a little bit more than Splyce.
Yeah, using that little bit of spice from OCE, able to obviously win those 2 games out. And now Splyce are going to want to get something back on them. They need to re-get themselves back in that game 1 and 2 zones. And I thought that might be a double commit from the other 2 players, from sort of Karma and Rettles, or Karma and Gyro. But no, it's the 2 main teammates, Rettles and Gyro, who ended up double committing together. But now Gyro, so Rettles central. Deco, though, with the save and can follow it up. Goes for a spin, hits his roof on the sidewall. Gets over another, thinks there's going to be a hit there from Karma. But no, Siki. Shot saved by Karma. Alright, Deca hits that quite central, but Jara can get a hit on it. Siki clearing towards the middle. A lot of this middle play coming out. A few clears going, not necessarily where the defensive players would want it to be. That's up in the air. Deca with a really early aerial. Can't quite make a touch on it though. Siki should have probably taken that to the corner and maybe got that boost, but no, Jara can get back in the end. Karma central again. Jules can nearly get a shot on the target as well. Now Karma go for a 2-on-1 dribble. Deca is back. Tries to go for that side flick, but instead Siki does get the save.
The pre-jump save as well. That's the thing. Like, they go for a flick, he jumps up high, and you have to. The defensive prowess of Rocket League in general is so good. Like the goalkeeping in particular.
Yeah, but then it just makes mind games even more strong when you do end up going for it. If you then go for like a fake shot, the amount of times that I've seen, like if just somebody went to go hit it, jumped, did a backflip, and then they just go for a little tap in, that would work so much more than just absolutely booming it towards where the player's already jumped to. But you just don't see it enough, I don't think. Yeah,
I mean, you see it a lot in ones because they have the space and they they're a bit more composed, I guess. But whenever someone has a dribble,
oh my god! That is a calculated save of the day.
Speaking of great saves, what the hell just happened there? Like, I love that one. Neither one of them could have saved it on their own, but they did a little pinch save to get it out. That was fantastic. I think that was Jaro and Rettles there. My word, that was something. That was definitely some good defensive prowess there.
Yeah, easy save. It's easy, lads. Don't worry, we've got this. All right, but I mean, look, we're approaching half-time in the game, and once again, it is even a nice demo coming out, but Karma should have probably just gone for the shot there. There was a smoke screen for anybody who was still in the net. They couldn't have seen where that ball was coming from, and something just booms towards one of the sides. It was probably a surefire goal, but Karma's going for the team play instead. Jaro sending towards that right-hand side, and Rettles intercepted by Siki. The backboard, Karma can clear it, along with Rettles taking that mid Deca. Seeming like there's a decent amount of mid-boost control for Splyce, but Ground Zero are able to just control it that little bit more when they're wanting to. Gyro can get the pass from Rettles and will get that first goal.
It's quite common for those corner passes not to work because, the 2 front post people can get it quite quickly. But I think Jules and I think it was Siki, like they were a bit too... They got caught off guard, and so the time came with the perfect opportunity to get a goal there, so they were a bit too front post at that point.
And now Splyce looking like they could turn this momentum back against Ground Zero. Doesn't look like Ground Zero they have been overcommitting as much as I might expect for them to when they're in this position. Gyro can't quite sink it in the near post, and Siki with about a second of pre-jumping to get that pre-jump save. Rettles over the top, and now Siki needs to get something on this, does so. Near the block again. Jules going long, drops down by Siki, maybe should have done, but Deck can get it central to Jules, doesn't opt for it. Jules going for that late flip. Rettles low. Side flips away from it, sort of matrixes around and then misses the ball.
Oh,
So misses the
sweat.
boost.
Oh, he puts it in!
Post and
It
Jules
was
puts
right!
it in!
The own goal! Oh, that's so heartbreaking. That's so heartbreaking. It's so hard to tell from your angle. Like, obviously, Jules has to like go for it. But it's those situations there where I don't even know how he quite got that angle to get it in his own net, to be honest with you.
That's a bit of a fun bounce off the post that sent it back central.
Yeah.
But now it just just doubles the deficit that they're going to need to try and bring back. Splyce 2-0 up with 1 minute left.
Good ceiling clear. That's great.
That was very nice.
Yeah, it's plays like that. Even ceiling clears have to happen now to get a good clear. And even then, they're still back on defense because it wasn't quite good enough. Didn't quite have the boost to carry it all the way. But Ground Zero are really going to have to just throw everything at us now, don't they? Really, they have to completely go full aggression, try to boost up, get some demos. We haven't seen really any demos, which is a very important thing. Very underrated, I think, in the Rock League. So I think throw them in there as well. Really catch them off guard.
So if you're in this position, are you thinking that if you're on Ground Zero, are you telling your teammates to go full aggression if you're in a tournament?
Yeah. You just go like proper ball chasing. You just constantly go for everything. Really, forget like do second man and third man passes, like even quite riskily.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah, I mean you're not going to score if you're not doing something extraordinary.
Oh, that could have been.
That could have been a chance to shoot at the near post. This 5 seconds is going to count down. Splyce, they can shut down that momentum against them. Ground Zero, although they brought it back to game 5 after losing the first 2, they do end up losing. Splyce take the first game on this B stream for DreamHack Pro Circuit Valencia. So let's ignore that game now, because we can go straight into another one. Triple Trouble versus Crazy Crew. At the moment, Triple Trouble, they are obviously up. They're up 2-0 versus Crazy Crew. But in this third game, we are seeing Crazy Crew have got 1 goal ahead of them. Are they going to be able to take this game?
So I think Triple Trouble is quite an interesting team to try to beat. They're pretty good. So
yeah, they are.
And they've just equalised. Tabboard showing you why. with a stunning goal right in the middle there. Wilson and getting caught left by far. That bounce is kind of awkward. Whether it hits the front post, whether it hits the post and goes outwards towards the middle of the goal or comes out is hard to read. So those ones can quite easily catch you off guard. But yeah, interesting about Crazy Crew. This is where the different playstyles. This is where Splyce and Ground Zero had kind of similar playstyles. Crazy Crew is going to be a bit more. They're going to be a bit more risky. Watch out for Wolves on the Moon. He's going to be their most aggressive player. So look to him to getting a lot of the shots like that.
There is one with just 11 seconds left. Now Crazy Crew are going to be leading this game. Tabbold going for something a little bit superfluous as Godsmiller can get it central and Wolves on the Moon sinking it with just 11 seconds remaining. Is this going to be the first game? Are we going to see a repeat of the game we literally just saw?
Maybe. I mean, maybe Crazy Crew will get 2 goals and then Triple Trouble will then win the final match. We'll have to see.
Maybe. Ooh, okay, so Castillo and Tapop, maybe miscommunication there. Not too confident who was going to go for it, but it doesn't go too badly. Chronicky, nice and high with it. Central for about a bumper's width away from getting a hit there. And there we go. Crazy Crew, they secure their first game in the DreamHack Pro Circuit. Congratulations to them. The series does not get easy. It will only end up getting harder for them. So now 2-1 to Triple Trouble. We're expecting them to win this, right? Yeah,
Triple Trouble are certainly the favourites, but again, opponents. Like Triple Trouble can't underestimate Crazy Crew because that would be, detrimental. We didn't see quite enough of the game to know how much they underestimated them there or whether Crazy Crew was picking up. So it'll be interesting to see in the next games to see quite the different play styles that's come into play, especially if you have a hyper aggressive team or player that can really just cause hassle. Yeah. It can really ruin a team that's quite rigid or has a strategy and a formula.
Yeah, has very sort of set roles as to what they want to be doing. Yeah, it's one of those things where if you've got say somebody who is being so aggressive that plays just can't form. So I'm thinking if these guys were against Aeriality, for example. Use the ball, just charge him, because then he's going to have to get rid of the ball in some way, offload it in a way that he's not necessarily used to, and then it means that he's going to be put in an awkward position. He might flick it high, then a teammate can then be behind him to hit the ball away. But hey, we don't care about aeriality right now. We're on about Triple Trouble and Crazy Crew. The battle of the alliteration is well on its way.
Ronicky started off with a great pinch there, sending it downfield, and now they've already got the pressure. But now they caught off guard. This is where Ronicky has to be careful. Good play, good play. And immediately they've cleared it back, and he's going for the double.
Go on.
And he gets the double. Well done, Ronicky. That is perfection.
The first 26 seconds of this game were just the Ronicky show.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my gosh.
He's a very, very good player. He's
all right, isn't he?
He's not bad, that one, not bad.
He's all right, isn't he, Ronicky?
No, he did great on the defense there to counter that one. You know, he let Tadpole buy a little bit of time, and then he came in to take over. So that was good communication from the two as well there.
I'm just double checking, by the way, to see if Adri is Seeb. That's their third player. I presume it is, because Seeb, if that is Adri.
Sorry, Adri is their sub.
He's their sub. So
this
okay.
Adriandra, right? He's their sub. So this may change things. It'd be interesting to see like how they go. Where Seeb is, I don't know. I don't know if he's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Seeb was the Triple Trouble sub. Like for RLCS 7, which happened literally a couple of weeks ago. So he is an incredibly good player.
Great bump.
Oh, it's there! Ronicky can sink it in. Cassie with a very, very nice carry over the top of everybody here. It's so gentle how he just gets it 1, 2, and 3. Smiller just stops it near the line, but Ronicky, he's shadowing after Tadpole gets that bump, and it's 2-0 now in this fourth game.
Yeah, lovely work there. You know, the follow-ups are so important in Rocket League, especially when it's players a lot better at tackling and 50ing, and you know, you always got to make sure you're directly behind and like following your teammates, either 50s or challenges, so that you don't give them too much time, because so many opportunities can go to waste. And that's just an open net. Don't know what's going on with Crazy Crew's third man. They're kind of falling apart at the moment. Again, it's the same thing. Like Tadpole would leave it, Cassio come, you know, but just different players. Cassio would come in. I don't know. I have no idea what they were doing. I don't know where Godsmiller was. I think he thought, you know, he was going to go a bit more central, so maybe overcommitted a bit with the boost. But those types of goals shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, you never want to just leave it open at the net, obviously. I mean, again, he should have just been up a little bit quicker for this, but Ronicky, you cannot fault the perfection of that shot. Tadpole off his own backboard. Ronicky up so quick. And it's 4-0 in seemingly a blink of an eye. And also, by the way, it looks like Adri is Seeb. It's looking like there's a name change or something going on. But Adri, from what we're being told, he is Seeb.
Oh, there we go. Makes it lovely when... okay, interesting then. He calls himself something that's very similar to...
unless he's... I don't know.
We'll get confirmation from the boys.
We will indeed, yeah. Hey, and if we're wrong, the boys are wrong.
There you go. We're never wrong. We're always right.
Exactly. It's always the boys. It's the boys who are wrong.
All right, 4-0 up. Crazy Crew are going to have to do something crazy, if you ask me, if they're going to bring this back. But at the moment, it's whilst, you know, they are quite high progressive, particularly Wolves on the Moon, you know, Triple Trouble aren't easy to break down, so they're going to have to try to work their way around them a bit more, pass with each other a little bit more, and put them into different spaces. At the moment, it's a little bit just like giving away. They're just giving away possession a bit too much.
Oh, that's a hell of an own goal. Honestly, put that in black and white. Put that in a montage, because that is beautiful. Cassio, who's central, just he's copying his. He's like, you know what? You scored a quick reader. I'll have a go. Unfortunately, it's 6 kilometers per hour slower, so it is trash. But Cassio gets a goal to his name, and he has to do very little of the work. So well done, Cassio.
Good job, Cassio.
Good job, mate.
Easiest goal of his life, on. Oh, that's it. That's how you catch them off guard. Those ones. But he's missed it. Those bounces are so difficult to read, because if it goes, you know, when it's wobbling like that, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? Fun fact though, if it's going to hit towards the post, I think Tadpole there should have assumed it would go lower. I mean, it's hard, but the nearer the ball, the nearer to the post there is, the ramp is, the more sharp it is. So the more likely it's going to go straight out rather than bounce upwards. So those ones can be a bit difficult. But yeah.
Wise words. I did not know that.
There you go.
Fair enough. I mean, also, even if it is going high, I suppose Oh, sorry, if it is going to go high, you'd rather block the low because that's going to be the easier shot to do.
Exactly, yeah. And if it does go high, you then have time to sort of react.
Get on the backboard or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, when you're in the moment, and we've all done it.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
We've all done that. Yeah, I mean, by the way, Triple Trouble having an answer to everything that Crazy Crew are doing right now, and Ronicky is having an incredible game. Up again, just gets that little flick over the top, beats out Godsmiller. Nearly getting to the point where we are having the first Brazil of the tournament, I presume. I presume we're not seeing another Brazil in the first hour of the games that we're seeing today.
Maybe not. Yeah, we'll have to check and see.
This is a very, very dominant performance from Triple Trouble. These first round games, they're always tough. There's the Brazil, by the way.
Hooray! We've done it.
Everybody get your Brazilian flags out in chat, because that's the one. We've done it. But I mean, this is a great start to the tournament for Triple Trouble. I imagine they saw that they maybe got a little bit lax in game number 3, let Crazy Crew have that game, and now they are showing why they're considered one of the strongest teams in Europe.
Yeah, they're playing a lot better now. The amount of times they're catching Crazy Crew off guard. Which I think the bigger the lead you have, the more aggressive the other team's going to be. Therefore, the more likely you can punish their overcommitting third man, if that makes sense. And that's exactly what they're doing. Hence why they're just running away with this goal after goal.
There with a minute left. We're not going to see a comeback for
Alright, don't come out just yet. Don't come out just yet. You never know.
Sorry.
6 goals in a minute. It's happened. It's happened.
It's happened. Sorry, mate. I shouldn't have said that. I regret it.
No worries, bro.
Alright, well, Tapol's just going to try and get an opportunity to score another goal. I wonder how. So Ronicky has had 4 goals to himself. 5, sorry. Sorry, I misspoke. I meant to say he's got 5 goals to himself.
No worries, buddy. You got it.
Yeah, now an 8-1. Crazy Crew being utterly demolished and humiliated here.
Yeah, I think as shown, as 3 players have left the match. I think Triple Trouble, are taking this win. But I mean, that is such a dominant performance there from Triple Trouble, which is to be expected.
Wow. Okay, so Crazy Crew didn't fancy staying around for the last 40 seconds.
No, they thought this is the mind game of the century right now. Cassio and Ronicky just staring that ball down, seeing if they can stare down another goal.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Great.
I mean, well done. Well done, Triple Trouble, taking an incredible win there against Crazy Crew. Final game, 8-1, and it wasn't even over. We have obviously seen some good games thus far. We've seen Splyce versus Ground Zero, ended up winning that 3-2. And we've also obviously just seen Triple Trouble Crazy Crew went 3-1. I believe we're going to be going to this next game, if I can get confirmation for that. We're not going to the next game. We're going to be going to a break, actually. So, guys, make sure you join us after the break, where we are going to be looking at Renault Vitality versus Splyce. I see you in chat. You're all wanting to see Vitality play. So stick around. You'll be seeing it very shortly.